I followed my dreams and opened an antique store to have adventures and spend time as a family. Sometimes you have to climb a mountain and open some new doors to find the treasures inside. This is our life, this is our adventure, and this is Curiosity Inc.
Good morning. So today I am on my way, well, I'm supposed to be on my way to Calgary. I've actually got 2 stops to make, but I just got word that the weather conditions have turned really poor on the highway, so I'm gonna have to make a decision about whether I can keep going. Right now the roads are just fine, nice and dry, so not having issues, but this is the first time I've driven the Volkswagen van in winter. Although I've got new tires on it, I'm still not sure exactly how it's going to handle in heavy or deep snow. But I've got my winter park on, I've got my gloves, I brought my winter boots with me, and I'm full of optimism. So we'll see exactly how far we can get today and hope that things don't get any worse than what they are right now.
All in all, it seems like things are going pretty good. The van's driving great, the heater is kind of working, and things are going well. Until...
So I ran into a minor problem. My shift linkage has fallen off on the van, which means I can't actually shift any gears. It's just flopping around. So luckily I've got some wrenches with me. I'm going to hop underneath the vehicle. I found a parking lot to stop in. It's a little bit chilly. So I've got to try and reattach the linkage back on. So good thing I brought tools with me, but not looking forward to crawling around on icy cold cement. And we're back in business. Everything seems to be back in place. Hey, well, the roads were a bit dicey, but 3 hours later, and I'm here in Calgary. And we're gonna go inside and see what kind of cool stuff this guy has for sale. Okay, well, the main thing that I got from the house was this. 2 of them, actually. Have a look. I ended up with 2 1940s Jennings Chief machines. They've got the indigenous chief on them. Both of them were in working condition. They're a little bit jammed up with money right now. So also got a 1930s point blanket, which actually I'm going to cover that up with.
Point blankets have their roots in the early fur trade between settlers and the indigenous peoples of North America. Companies such as the Hudson's Bay Company would trade blankets for beaver pelts. The lines on a blanket would tell you the size, and the more points or lines, the larger the blanket. Today, they are considered iconic home statement pieces and even fashionable clothing. They can last literally hundreds of years due to their heavy wool construction. Some can even be worth thousands of dollars and are quite collectible.
An old wall crank phone, another little brass desk lamp. I use these to light up my showcases, some records and other things. But yeah, I also got a neat blanket, and you might think, oh, blanket's not very interesting, but this one's kind of cool. Well, I can say the interior of the Volkswagen doesn't really get warm, but it's not really cold either. It's kind of like being in the waiting room of a doctor's office, and you're just not comfortable. So I'll have to see about getting the other heater fixes. The guy that had the van before me took the middle heater out. Not a good idea in a Volkswagen van. They're not really known for being the warmest vehicle on earth. If I'm going to drive this thing for any longer, you can see it's snowy outside. I really am going to need some more heat. I'm wearing a down-filled jacket, and I'm still cold. A short while ago, as I was driving, the van started to really slow down and lose power. Almost, if you've ever been inside of a vehicle and it feels like you've got a piston or it's running on one less cylinder, it kind of felt like that. So I stopped, checked things over, spark plug wires looked okay, but I put in some fuel line additive, which I think is actually working because now I've got all my power back. So could be, I had to change a fuel line the other day, so something could have been clogged or dirty when I switched it back over. So it seems to be running okay now, but I was getting a little bit worried that I was going to be broken down about 2 hours outside of home. So that's an expensive tow if you have to get a tow back home. That'd be, for me, I guess that would be like about 200 kilometers, about 150 kilometers, or maybe 80 miles. Still expensive tow, it's a long way. There's probably not a seal that works on this whole vehicle. If you listen, you can hear the windiness. You can hear the wind rustling around in here. If I had one of those heat sensitive cameras, the whole thing would probably be glowing because of heat loss everywhere. So I'll have to try and address that too. But overall, pretty happy. You know, it drove me out to Saskatchewan and back, and now Calgary. Seems to be pretty good on the highway. Overall, a pretty good vehicle, a very good van.
Luckily, the road stayed good all the way back home. I must have just missed some bad weather though, because there was cars all over the ditch, including a few that were flipped upside down, so luckily I missed all that stuff. But I'm just about safe and home, and remember that blanket I was talking about? Well, let me show you.
And honey, I'm gonna cuddle you up with this blanket. So hold that over yourself. Do you know what this blanket's from?
No.
I'll give you a hint. So if you were really cold and you were on a train almost 100 years ago, they might have covered you up with a blanket like this. This is from the Northern Alberta Railway Company. And this is just a, you know, if you would have asked for a blanket or something on the train, that would have kept you cozy. It's wool. Is it pretty warm? Yeah, it's not too bad. You look cuddly. As an added bonus, this actually still has the original key, so I can still get in the back. If this key's missing, it can be a big pain in the butt to get these things open. So I'm going to take the back off of it. Here's the instruction sheet. So good original condition. We're going to remove the mechanism and take the coins out because they're jamming everything up right now. And every game has a certain way of getting it open and getting the mechanism out. This one has two latches, one on either side that you pull in to release the top mechanism, and then two that release on the other sides near the middle that release the mechanism itself, and it just slides out the back. And with the back off, you can kind of see what the problem is. There is a log jam of dimes in here that have all doubled up on themselves. So this thing is not working because it's all jammed up. I'm gonna have to take the back plate off here to get the dimes out from there. Then this whole thing should slide out. I might have to disassemble this plate as well. But at least I can kind of see what the problem is, and at least gives me an idea where I'm supposed to start by fixing this. So I got the top piece off here. That came off really easy, just 3 screws. Now I'm gonna try and get some of the dimes out. I've got my little magnet here to fish some out through the top. And we got one out. Let's see if I can get the others. Okay, I've got the mechanism out. So there's all kinds of dimes on the bottom of this thing that have been stuck, not falling down the right spots. So we'll get those out. Get it all cleaned up. I'm already almost a whole $1 ahead on the deal so far. So I'm going to take those guys out of there and just kind of get it coin free so that we can start from scratch and see what's going on. There's also this little compartment, the extra payout, on the front that entices people to gamble more. So it's also full. We're going to see if we can free the change on this thing too. If I don't get rich selling it, at least I'll get some money back in dimes. Take that out and clean the glass up after. Good bunch of dimes in there. Give this a try. Nothing. Just like going to the real casino. All right, so it seems to be working fairly reliably now. Coin goes in, handle comes down, reels are spinning well. I'm not having a whole lot of luck winning anything yet, but the machine is working the way it's supposed to work, so this one is ready for the store. Back at the shop, I've got a few things set up that I bought the other day. The slot machines, well, they were really cool. This 10-cent machine I got working perfectly. I had a fellow actually see the picture that I posted on Instagram, and it is now sold. So that's one down, and I still have one to go. So the other one, which is right behind me here, I did a little work on this one this morning too. Got it working, so both are in great working condition, and had to hit the jackpot on this one, so I wasn't expecting the whole pile of nickels to come flowing out the bottom there, but it is working good and dispensing fine, so really neat, interesting things, and yeah, they're selling quickly. Sometimes stuff comes in and goes out real fast. And another popular collectible that we just got in was this Eco Air Meter. Now this has been restored, but to a very high level. The chrome work is near perfect, the paint is near flawless, the guy did a fantastic job, and the big bonus is it still works. You can hook up your airline to it and fill your tires up with this. So these would have been really common at gas stations back in the 50s, and a lot of times you even see them up to the 70s and 80s stations that still have these, but they're gone now. Now most of them are in collectors' hands and they're very desirable. Better yet for me, I think this one's sold and the guy's supposed to be coming to pick it up today. They don't last long because they're a great piece. And remember the train lanterns that I bought? Well, I had 2, now I'm down to 1. So things are starting to sell, and that just gets me more motivated to find other cool stuff to bring in the shop. Aside from the lanterns and the slot machines, also got a cool railway blanket, which my daughter displayed for us, and this Thorns turntable. This is TD145. Thorns is, of course, one of the better names in turntables. That's a nice piece. Once I find the center adapter for it, it'll be 100% complete and working. So a turntable like that should move pretty quickly too. I also picked up this old Northern Electric ringer telephone. Now, they're kind of neat. You know, these were really in fashion maybe in the 70s and 80s. People had more of a country look going on in their homes. They're not particularly rare. You have to think that at the time, pretty much every household had a phone like this, or farmhouse for that matter. So they're not overly rare. In fact, I've got another one sitting right there on the table. So I've got 2. You don't want to overpay for something like this. Sometimes back in the day, you might have gotten even $400 for something like this. Now you're lucky to get maybe $250 for a phone like this. So I'm not holding my breath, but you know, I think we paid about $150 for it. So if I make $100, I'll be happy. And you know, they are kind of a neat thing. I still like them. It's mechanical, fits in with what we do around here. So a few cool finds this week, and I'm glad that a couple of them turned over quickly. Anytime you can move something in less than 24 hours, that's a good day. That money is just going to go right back in. Well, some of it has to go to pay me back for expenses, but I'm going to try and find some more cool stuff to buy, and that's pretty much how this goes. You buy something, you sell it, you hope you make some money, and then you take that profit, you go buy something else until eventually you end up with a store full of stuff like we've got here. Thanks so much for tuning in on another adventure today. If you haven't already, you can check us out on Instagram and on Facebook. Those are probably the 2 best ways to get a hold of us. We also have a website, but pretty much that just tells you to check us out on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. If you're ever interested in anything you see that we have in the shop, everything is for sale. So you can reach us at curiosityedmonton@gmail.com, our email address. But thanks again for watching, guys. Hope you like these adventures, and we'll see you all soon. Bye for now.